2010 Tahoe Z71 4x4, 2023 Silverado front brakes. Why not? So as mentioned, these are front calipers and rotors off of a 2023 Silverado base model, like a work truck kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken. Did have the 5.3, it wasn't like a V6 or anything. But these, along with some half-inch washers, I have of various ODs because I'm not sure what's going to fit, should allow me to bolt them to this GMT 900 platform. 2010 Silverado Z71 4x4, but even the standard LS trims or LT, whatever they are, two-wheel drives, it should all be the same. And basically just be a OEM brake upgrade. These are pretty easily or readily available. As you can see, they are used from LKQ. Do not ever burn your bridges with previous employers. Got these for a really good deal. So you can buy all the stuff pretty new for fairly cheap, just factory stuff. But these literally have like 2,000 miles on them. So I'm even going to use the brake pads that were on them because they are like brand new. But I used to work with these guys that pulled these off for me. And these guys just did a jam up job. They literally gave me everything down to the freaking wear indicator sensor on these that came with these trucks that obviously I won't need. I think that just, yeah, it just pulls right off. So don't need that. But I mean, they gave me hoses and all. They cut them on the truck side. So the flex hoses are still good. You don't need the hoses. The only thing you need is the rotors, the calipers, along with the pads, obviously, and the supporting mounting hardware, which these just use pins that slide through, and then this bracket here that helps keep the pads spread apart. All that obviously can get bought, you know, as a hardware kit if you need it. You can reuse the original mounting bolts on your truck. You don't need the ones with these calipers because the threads are the same. But like I said, the only thing you need are washers to space these calipers out a little bit in order to center them properly over the rotors. Now the only clearance issue that comes with these a lot of the time is the face, or rather the back side of these spokes rubbing on the face of these calipers. Most of your OEM wheel options for these 07 to 14s are going to run into that issue. I am running some aftermarket Vision, I forget the model number, Manix, I forget what their 3-digit code are, 3-digit number, but I've seen pictures of these exact wheels on a 2021 Silverado, which share the same calipers. So I shouldn't have any spacing issue between where the caliper sits and the backside of the wheel spoke. So we're going to see. So first things first, before I do any cracking opening of lines, is we're going to get wheel and tire off. I'm going to pull the brakes off, and I'm just going to test fit. I'm going to slap one of these rotors and calipers on and bolt it down and see if I can fit a wheel. So let me get this pig up in the air and go from there. Alright, now let us get in to ripping this off. These rotors are warped. They are pretty deeply grooved. They need replaced anyways. So I figured, hey, no better time than now to just go ahead and, oops, look at there, that pop off my wheel. No better time than now to just give it a little bit of an upgrade. So we need to get these calipers, caliper brackets, and we can slide these rotors off. Wow. You know what that tells me? These rotors have been on here since 2010. Nobody ever puts those back on. So, dang, I need upper ball joints too soon. Look at there. Anyhow, let me get to ripping this off, and we're going to hold our upgraded new calipers on there and see if the wheels fit. Alright, old stuff is off. So, pretty simple. I just pulled the caliper and bracket off together as like a loaded assembly. Hung it by, that's hanging by a bracket, by the way, on the frame, not the hose itself. Trying to keep tension off this hose. I may need to reposition that in order to get the wheel to slide on for the test fit, but now I just need to bring the new rotor over here and set it on there and put the caliper on. That simple. Actually, I can probably do that one-handed. So, they even labeled left and right for me. I am working on the right, not that it makes a difference. And I will not be putting that set screw back in there that I mentioned earlier. It never goes back in because it doesn't really. It's meant to hold the rotor on the front end of the truck on the assembly line. It doesn't need to go back on. So, the main thing I'm concerned about is the center bore matching, but, you know, from everything I read, shouldn't be a problem. So, let's see if I can one-handed without dropping it with the help of a knee. Right there. Perfect. Awesome. So one of those questions I've seen come up a lot when installing these was, where are these washers applied? What do they do? And why are they needed? So, they basically go this mounting boss here, and there's another one right there, are where those two line up and your bolts go through. So without that, with washer installed, the caliper and rotor will actually rub this front face. So what you do is you put a washer between, on this face and between that hole right there, on both top and bottom, and it spaces the caliper out this way to center it on the rotor and keep the rotor in this, basically the center track between the two pads in the caliper. Without it, like I said, it rubs this front face. You put two washers, it'll rub the back face. One washer aligns it pretty much dead nuts on with the center of the rotor, center line, and keeps everything in order. So yeah, loosely installed makes it a little more obvious. The washer, you can see right there, a little gold guy sitting right in between the caliper and the spindle. There's one, this is the top, there's one there. I can make it up down here. Yep, right there on the bottom too, right between the rusty spindle on the left and the new shiny caliper on the right. That bolt is passing through the spindle, through the washer, and threads into the caliper on top and bottom. And that little washer is all the spacer that's needed to bring this caliper out and in alignment with the rotor. So, fun fact, off camera I did some readjusting, and as it turns out in my situation, two washers in between the spindle and the caliper give it much better centering over the rotor. So yeah, apparently it's going to vary, but in my case, two washers on the top and bottom bolt centered it up a bit better than just a single washer. Now, of course, this could be washer specific. These washers came from Lowe's, I think, but it's going to depend on the washer. In my case, honestly, a washer and a half would have been ideal, but I'm not going to grind down one washer for this. So 2 washers it is. Centered it up pretty good. I just need to hook the brake lines up. Unfortunately, these lines are different, mainly the mounting bracketry, and I could bend that out and attach it, but I'm just going to reuse the original line that was on the 2010. So just going to hook those up and bleed them and go to the other side. Well, look at there. We have clearance for days. Plenty of room behind this wheel for these calipers. And the diameter, plenty of room for there. These are 18s, by the way. Honestly, you could probably go, I'd venture to say you could do 17s on these, because there's still, I mean, there's a good inch between the wheel and the caliper. 17s would be pretty close. I mean, 18s, I would say you're good on any 18s. 17s are going to be tight. But obviously, like I said, the back of the wheel is your main concern. And with these Vision, I can't remember the model number, like 486, 489, something like that, Manix wheels, M-A-N-X. There's ample room. There's a good inch at least between the face of the caliper and the back face of the spokes. So that was my biggest concern. It's a non-issue. All right, installed and bled. So like I said, I reused the original lines for the 2010 line and bolt. 2 washers in my case on both mounting points. Spaced it out pretty well. Centered. I even went as far as installing the little Torx thing screw that just literally holds the rotor on the assembly line. Totally unnecessary, but I had it, why not? But that's it. She is torqued down and ready to go. Now these 2 big bolts, I'm sure you can look online, these mounting bolts here, and find a torque spec. I just gave it the old German torque spec, Guten tight, and I'm just gonna send it. I think it'll be fine. But that's all there is to it. I actually went through a whole, like a quart bottle of fluid and bled. I just flushed the front lines out, but that way it's got nice fresh fluid in it. And top reservoir off when I was at it. It looks weird right now because the truck's at an angle, but but yeah, direct bolts on. So kudos to whatever junkyard dog figured this out. That is a pretty good upgrade over these old crusty things. They are, I mean, they're covered because CV axles destroyed themselves in the past on both sides and slung grease all over it. But these rotors were shot, they're grooved up. The pads in both of these were fairly worn. It was just due for all replacement, and it's just a perfect time for an upgrade. So the new calipers, they stop hard. So this is a kind of a back road, there's nobody really on it. I'm gonna get up speed here. Try to hold my phone steady here. ABS definitely kicks in. There's crap sliding out from under my seat. So the pedal feel feels great. They just work. There was concern about the fluid movement with the new calipers, and there's a car coming way down there. I'm gonna take this opportunity. I'll pick this up. There was concern about the caliper or the master cylinder not moving enough fluid for the new calipers, but I can't even get that out of the receipt right now. I'm just gonna go there for now. But it seems to work pretty well. So I'm gonna give it a minute to get out here on the road. This is not a very busy road. It's kind of a back county road, but still want to try to do this, you know, as safe as I can. Make sure there's no cars around. Got nobody coming from that way. There's a car coming from that way, but I'm not too worried about them because I'm not going to be in front of them. Get back out here on the road. Let's get some speed. do a 60 mile an hour stop. So I'm going to set my cruise right there to 60, maybe a little more, and 3, 2, 1, dead stop. So I, can't really time that, so I don't know how long that took, but just to give you an idea, that was pretty much foot to the floor. ABS, I felt it kick in just a little bit there. So these brakes do stop in a hurry. So I never really did that test with the original brakes, but these work pretty well.